Squatting is one of those exercises that really makes you face yourself, I guess, for a lack of better words. But, like other exercises like the deadlift or bench or power clean, whatever, right? Like, yeah, when it gets heavy enough, it's scary. Like, not scary, but, you kind of get excited or nervous or anxious or whatever you want to call it, right? But you really gotta, you know, get yourself in that mindset to do that heavy lift. But squatting is a whole different thing, right? Because I could do a heavy set of deadlift and be like, okay, like, yeah, that was hard or whatnot. And yeah, I might need to put some ass behind it. But when you get under the bar for a heavy set of five for a squat, that's like, ooh, like you kind of have to think about it. Like it's one of those exercises where you're like, fuck, like it makes you not dread it, but you're not looking forward to it. And you really got to put some like, all right, I really got to focus. I really got to dial in on this because there's no other way, right? Like it can pin you between you and the safety bar, or you might have to dump it, or there's a lot of things with the squat that is not as it doesn't feel as safe if you fail. Like with the bench or the press, yeah, you have the power rack, or the deadlift, you could just drop it. But like with a squat, like yeah, you can have the power rack to catch it, but it's just a different feeling. And it's one of those things where, and I've said this before, where if I could not do the squat, I wouldn't, but there's really no other replacement exercise for the squat. And obviously, it depends on what your goal is. Like if you're trying to be a bodybuilder, then yeah, you could probably do leg press, extensions, some other variations. And honestly, if you really think about it, like yeah, you could probably do the same thing for athletics. But for me personally, in my current situation, I'm in a home gym and I'm having a barbell. There's really nothing I can do, right? Yeah, you could do like a goblet squat or maybe a barbell front squat, but it's not the same as a back squat because the back squat you could just lift more weight. And when I think on this session I did 240 for 5, and man, that's like I think on the fourth and fifth rep I was really like, all right, like it was hard, but it wasn't the absolute limit. Like it was pretty up there. So I know for sure, like if I had to do 3 sets of 5 at 240, I was like, it's, I don't know if I could have done it, because it's going to take more and more effort to do that set. But I do think that, when you do a heavy set of squat, like it does make all your other aspects of lifting and just easier. Like, after you do a heavy set of squats, like, all right, your central nervous system is sort of awake and primed, and yeah, like how hard is a bench, like how hard can a pull-up be after that? The only thing I could really think about that's kind of on the same level as a squat is probably, if I really had to think, maybe a full squat clean, right? Not a power clean, but like a full clean where you have to catch it at the bottom. I think maybe that's what I'm thinking, but I don't know. I mean, for me personally, I never really had that, like, no other exercise made me feel as anxious as a squat did. But, anyways, this session was pretty good. Did a top set of squat at 240, 2 sets of 3 at the bench with 173. So I only went up half a pound on the bench just because I felt like the 172 that I did last week was a bit shaky. So I didn't want to make too big of a jump. And I probably would be I would probably be making a 1 pound jump going forward. So similar to the press. Yeah, I've never been a good presser, so I'll probably just do that. The pull-ups, the reps are coming in. I kind of have to do additional sets, so I was doing 3 sets before, but I kind of need a little bit more volume, so that's where I'm adding a fourth set just to make it an even 30 reps. But overall, pretty good workout, so looking forward to the next one. So catch you guys next time.